Hi, everyone. My name is Dustin Miles. I'm with Momentum Multifamily and super excited to have Julie Holly on the show. Known each other for a number of years and have always been, kind of admiring from afar. She puts out great content. Anyways, super excited to have her on the show. So, Julie, if you want to kind of do a quick intro and then we'll kind of hop into the interview.
Oh, sounds great. Dustin, thanks so much for inviting me to the show. It's so much fun. Always great to see you at events and such. I'm Julie Holly. I am founder of Three Keys Investments and host of long-running podcast, The Conscious Investor. I love investing in real estate. I was raised in real estate. I also have a background in public ed, and God fused both of these backgrounds and passions together as I work in the multifamily space, really serving investors on the placing their investments, finding sourcing so that the investors don't have to do that heavy lifting and they can say, that's a great opportunity. Let me go into it.
Cool. Okay. Well, so how? Just curious. How long have you been multifamily?
So I was thinking about that. It's been going into year 7 now into the
Oh,
multifamily
wow. Okay.
space. Yes. So I began on the
Awesome.
passive investing side, and I thought that was a really important step to take before going active. I wanted
Hmm.
to have all the experience, emotions, and feelings that limited partners experience. And so I invested passively and then converted to active.
Oh, cool. Okay. Uh, where are you located? Where do you invest? And what cities do you invest in as GP? Just kind of curious about all that.
Yes, I live in the middle of nowhere on the Canadian border, one stoplight town in
Okay.
North Idaho on the Canadian border. So I do not invest where I live. So I always say, live where you want to live, invest where it makes sense, CENTS and SENSE. And it has to make sense both ways. And so I'm market agnostic. I'm very much partner driven, which means that my company has partnerships that have invested everything from Atlanta, Georgia, and North Carolina into the Midwest, Minneapolis, some smaller towns in Wisconsin, and Des Moines, Iowa.
Okay, got it. Okay. You've been in multifamily for a while. You've probably tried a few different things and all that. I know, as far as a GP, I think I've worn about every hat you can wear. What's your role typically as a GP, and what do you like to do, and what does that look like?
My typical role, I knew what I wanted to do. When I was going into active investing, I knew exactly which role I wanted, in the partnership, and that's why I actually began as a passive investor. I knew I wanted to be investor relations. I knew I wanted to serve
Hmm.
investors. I wanted to support them. I wanted to educate them. Like that was my heart and soul. And so I haven't worn other hats really when it comes to all of
Hmm.
our partnerships. I very much have focused on nurturing, caring, incubating, and communicating with investors. Which sounds really it I know that when people hear that they're like, yeah, that just sounds like you're checking a box. However, I will say this, when you are writing monthly investor updates, let me tell you, you are not just checking a box, and it definitely takes a skill set to be able to communicate all the things, good, bad, ugly, whatever is happening, to communicate effectively with your investors in a way that conveys all the information without over communicating information. And so there's
Hmm.
actually an art
Yeah.
to being able to communicate well with your investors.
Yeah, no, I totally, agree with that. We want to, be sure we're educating people, but I mean, there's a lot that goes on, day to day, for sure, which can be make for interesting stories. So,
Yeah, and you
um,
need to. I've limited partners. They need to know just because they don't have voting rights at the table doesn't mean they shouldn't be in the
yeah,
loop on everything taking place. And so it's such a critical element.
yep, yep, absolutely. So just kind of, curious, there's LPs, limited partners, limited, passive investors, they have, they have a lot of options. There's Wall Street, and there's other, investments out there. There's other syndicators and things like that. So just kind of curious to see, if there's anything that you particularly do to kind of set yourself apart from others. I know you have, an event, you have some other different things going on, but just kind of curious what you do to set yourself from everyone else.
Well, we're not interested in having every single investor invest with us. And oftentimes people can seem very hungry to have every investor come into their deals. And we're really creating a
Mm.
culture and a community that is a group of like minded investors. And so we like to ensure that all of our investors really are conscious investors, that they really deeply align with our core values, which sounds silly to some people. But when you think about banding together a group of investors that share a similar mindset towards investing, towards creating strong returns for investors and solutions for communities. And this is really critical. If you have somebody that has a different mindset, that's fine, but it can be distracting and it can sometimes detour things. And so we focus on bringing people together that are like minded. Because I have an amazing network, if someone might not be the best fit for our investments, that's okay. It's not a value statement about the person. It's just says, you know what? We want to make sure that we're protecting and preserving the culture here so that all of our investors are getting our attention. And here are other options. Here are other really great people that we would invest with or that we do invest with, and they might be a better investment option. I think that honestly is probably the biggest differentiator. And most people would say, "Oh, we have better returns, and we do this or that." On the business plan, anybody can come up with a great business plan. So it's really saying we're very much focused on mindset, on culture, and on character and who's showing up, because
Mm.
this is a mutual trust situation. We're trusting our limited partners as much as they are trusting us. We're trusting that they trust us so that we can focus and really perform and outperform what we are, striving to do for them on their behalf. So it sounds probably like a left field answer. When it comes to the investing space, a lot of people are focused on the dollars and cents and bottom lines, but really, we believe life is a lot more than dollars, cents, and bottom lines. And we want to do life and investing life with really strong people.
Yeah, no, I like that. It's yeah, I'd say it's that's refreshing. That, like you said, anyone can have, a good resume. Anyone can kind of put numbers, on a spreadsheet, but actually, going out there and performing, is part of that. Part of that's, market and all that too. But yeah, I like that, because if everyone's kind of that same mindset, everyone's on that same line of thinking, then you don't have people that are kind of like, hey, what's going on? Everybody's kind of on that same train of thought. So I like that a lot. That's cool. So um just kind of I'm sure you look at a bunch of different deals, and kind of, sounds like you've done deals throughout the country and things like that. What do you look for in a deal? Are there certain parts of the country that you like? Are there certain vintage of product that you like? Or do you only work with people that self-manage? Like, what is, a typical three keys investment look like?
We have a very clear buy box. We're into
Mm.
housing for humans. And so for
Mm.
us, that means, because there are a lot of ways we can provide housing for humans. For our company, that means multifamily and assisted living facilities. There are so many great asset classes out there, but we really wanted to say, what is the heartbeat of our company and what is it? How do we want to contribute into the world? And so while self storage is great and light industrial is great, and there's so many great asset classes, we focus on multifamily and assisted living facilities. We are still fairly market agnostic, but I do show strong preference towards the Midwest. I love the Midwest. Sure that you're not going to have that massive appreciation that we see in the metros. Okay, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It doesn't have that same volatility, and there's just a little more stability, predictability, strong companies in those markets. It's amazing. We have an investment in Minneapolis. Most people don't realize how many Fortune 500 companies are there in the Minneapolis area. So it's really interesting when you start digging into the Midwest, the opportunities that are there. And just like our investments are driven, we're trying to always bring in investors that are like minded. That same principle applies to all of our deals. So when I am revealing investment opportunities, I am always looking at who are we partnering with, who are we aligning with, because we're always coming in alliance with another partnership, with another team. And so we
Yeah.
want to know, what is their character, what is their track record, because our brands are going to be reflecting upon one another. And so how we like to say, have we met them in person? Do we know them for at least a year? Do we like their track
Yeah.
record? If we see them at an event, do they carry and conduct themselves in a way that would make us, like, if someone associates our brands, is that going to reflect well on everybody? And likewise, I hope people are asking that about our company as well. Like, does Three Keys, does that reflect well on us, as in our company and our values? And so we were really looking at, just like with our limited partners, our active general partners, we're looking at, who are you? And we would like to make sure that those partnerships are fully solidified before bringing in any type of limited partners to the scenario. So we don't want to have collateral damage with other people's money. That doesn't sit well and bode
Yeah.
well with us at all. So yeah, looking at the markets, those are really, it's great. Look at the markets, but I always look at the people. And then if we went into the underwriting, there's a whole slew of things obviously that we are looking at, because a lot of people want to pull all the levers and make it look just right. And it's like, no, let's not pull all the levers. Let's see the worst case scenario, and let's try to kill this deal 20 different ways. And if it can still survive, okay, we got something we can work with.
Awesome. Well, really appreciate you hopping on today. Great to see you as always, and look forward to seeing you at some conferences. I'm sure sometime this year. So, thank you, Julie. Appreciate it. All right. See ya. You too. Bye.